Hey YouTube, Steve and Luke from Vegas Westside Shooters, and today we're going to do a video on replacing the trigger in our Sig MPX 9mm short barrel rifle. We noticed that we had some grittiness in the disconnector, and we started having some malfunctions when you after you pulled the trigger. When you released the trigger, it didn't want to reset, and so we had some misfires, and rather than get a new disconnector and just replace the factory trigger, as you may know from a lot of other videos on YouTube, the Sig stock trigger in the MPX is not a fantastic trigger. It's sort of a standard mil-spec AR type of trigger, except it has an additional piece called the trigger bridge to protect it from the impulse. But it's not a real smooth trigger. Ours measures around 6 to 7 pounds, and we're gonna measure it for you right now and just show that. But we decided to get a replacement trigger, and I looked at a lot of different options, and I emailed several trigger manufacturers. I emailed Geisley to see which trigger they would recommend, and they actually responded and told me they don't recommend any of their triggers in the MPX at this time. They are working on a proprietary Geisley MPX trigger, but it won't be ready at least until August or September. I emailed Elftmann Tactical, and they responded actually on Memorial Day, pretty amazingly, sent me back an email on the holiday, and they recommended their AR10 /308 trigger because it's a very heavy-duty trigger and it can tolerate the impulse, the recoil impulse from the Sig MPX, which apparently has a pretty high impulse, recoil impulse, and is pretty hard on triggers, hence the extra, what they call the trigger bridge. So we didn't hear back from several other trigger manufacturers, and so we decided to go with the ELF trigger. And so here it is. It's their AR10 308 Elftmann Tactical ELF trigger. It's a single stage drop-in trigger adjustable from 2.5 to 4 pounds. And it's pretty cool because it has a little set screw, which I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try to show you, but it has a little set screw right there. And even when it is in the lower, you can take off the upper and reach in and use an Allen wrench to adjust that trigger pull even while it's installed without taking the trigger out. So that's pretty awesome. Plus, it has these little needle roller bearings for a smooth action, and it has a lot of really good reviews. And I love their customer service. The guy got back to me within hours on a holiday to let me know what they recommended. So there's a lot of videos in there, including one from Such on how to install these. So we're not going to belabor that. We're going to go off screen. But first, before we take the trigger out, we're just going to do a quick safety check. Okay, and then Luke's going to do a trigger pull with the Lyman gauge and see what the stock trigger is. You gotta hold on. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so that one measured at 6 pounds, 7.6 ounces. Okay, and let's try it again. And that measured at 6 pounds, 7.9 ounces. So we're getting a pretty consistent 6.5 pound trigger pull. We're going to put the ELF trigger in, and let's see where we end up. So we hope you stick with us. Okay, here's Luke shooting the MPX with the new Elftmann Tactical ELF AR10 /308 trigger, set at around 3.5 pounds. Let's see how that thing rocks. Range is hot. How do you like that trigger?
I love it.
Is it pretty smooth and crisp?
Oh yeah, definitely. Way lighter than the stock trigger.
Awesome. Okay, my turn. All right, I'm going to see how I like this ELF trigger. Okay, range is hot. Man, that trigger is smooth. All right, now we move back to about 20 yards and we're using our new 20 round magazines, Sig MPX magazines. These are OEM magazines. We got on sale, so we're going to try these. These are going to be for IDPA because you can't load more than 10 rounds anyways, so we might as well use shorter magazines. Luke, you're up. Range is hot. All right, nice shooting. All right, we're back at the garage, testing out the Elftmann Tactical ELF AR10/308 trigger in the Sig MPX, and I gotta say, so far so good. It's a smooth trigger with a very crisp break. It's about, right now it's breaking about 3.5 pounds with minimal over travel and a very, very sharp reset. And I'm really feeling good about it. Luke loves shooting it. We are going to take this out to the next IDPA match, and Luke is going to shoot pistol caliber carbine with this, and we'll see how he does with that. But so far I'm going to say I'm going to give the thumbs up to the ELF AR10/308 trigger, the drop-in trigger in the Sig MPX 9mm. As far as durability goes, that we'll have to see. Time will tell. They do recommend readjusting the trigger after 100 to 200 rounds, adjusting it if you want to adjust the trigger pull weight after you've shot a couple hundred rounds. So we'll retest it in a couple hundred rounds and see where we are. So far we put well over 100 rounds through it in that one range session, and we didn't have any hiccups, and it's just a really nice feeling trigger. So I hope everybody out there enjoyed that, because we sure enjoyed shooting it, and we'll see you around the range. Steve and Luke from Vegas Westside Shooters.